So, hello everyone again. This is lecture 3 part 2 of semiconductor electronics, materials, devices and simple circuits. In the previous discussion we were on the topic of extrinsic semiconductors, in which we understood basically what are impurities, what is doping, why was the name doped semiconductor being used for extrinsic semiconductors and so on. Let us move to the further discussions on what are these impurities basically, what are the things to be utilized so that the conductivity of an semiconductor can be increased manifold, etc. So, let us not waste any other further time. So, I am Samir Lavankar, let us begin our discussion. Okay, so right now we are on the extrinsic semiconductor part. Before this we have already been completed with the introduction, the difference classification of metals, semiconductors and conductors, and the intrinsic semiconductors. Right now we are on the fourth part, that is intrinsic semiconductors. After extrinsic semiconductor is completed, we will move on to the PN junction. Fine. Let us move the further discussion on extrinsic semiconductors only. Okay, so in the last topic, just a quick recap, we understood the concept. So, new terminologies were impurities, then something called as doping, and using dope we got doped semiconductors. Okay. Let us move with the further discussions now. So, basically what are these impurities will be explained in this part of this lecture. Okay, so please listen carefully. So, it occupies only a very few of the original semiconductor atom sites in the crystal. Quite evident, which we also heard in the last part also, that there is only few parts per million being utilized as an impurity. So, quite evident, very few part will be used as an impurity. So, it occupies only a very few of the original semiconductor atom sites in the crystal. A necessary condition to attain this is that the sizes of the dopant and the semiconductor atom should be nearly the same. Okay. So, this is very much important. Why it is important, I will try to explain to you in subsequent slides. For now, just understand this, that the size of okay, size of impurity should be approximately equal to size of the semiconductor atom. Now, there are two types of dopants. So, basically there are two types of impurities used in doping the tetravalent silicon or germanium. So, first of all, please remember that silicon and germanium both are tetravalent, because these all concepts are important when understanding this. So, these are tetravalent, as the name suggests, tetravalent. So, 4 valency. Okay. So, it is having 4 valency. Fine. This thing is explained. Okay. So, what are the two types? So, first is pentavalent, that is valency 5, like arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, etc. Second is trivalent, valency 3, like indium, boron, aluminium, etc. So, these are two types of dopants which we use. We shall now discuss how the doping changes the number of charge carriers and hence the conductivity of semiconductors. Silicon or germanium belongs to the 4th group in the periodic table, and therefore we choose the dopant element from nearby 5th or 3rd group, expecting and taking care that the size of the dopant atom is nearly the same as that of silicon or germanium. Okay. So, that was the basic reason of why we are using this. Okay. And why we are using it, so that in the lattice structure, in the lattice structure, if it is having, so basically we know that each of the silicon atom or germanium atom keeps residing with the another 4 parts with another silicon atom, right. So, if we try to change the silicon atom at this portion with a trivalent or a pentavalent dopant, then if the size will be same, then only it will be adjusted in that portion. Let us say the size is this much, it cannot be adjusted in that vacant space from which we remove the silicon atom, right. That is why the size of the pentavalent or the trivalent atom should be nearly same as that of silicon or germanium. Okay. So, this thing is also explained. Next thing is, interestingly, the pentavalent and trivalent dopants in silicon or germanium give two entirely different types of semiconductors, as described for the slides. Okay. So, that is the basic discussion of why we are trying to divide this into two concepts. One is pentavalent extrinsic semiconductors and another is trivalent extrinsic semiconductors. Okay. So, the final summary only for from this part of the slide is just we need to remember that there are two types of extrinsic semiconductors. So, the two dopants are basically, one is pentavalent, that is valency 5, and next is trivalent, that is valency 3. Okay. Let us move on to the first type, that is n type semiconductor. So, one is n type, another is p type. Let us first understand what is n type semiconductors. Please remember, extrinsic semiconductors are of two types, intrinsic semiconductor is one only. Okay. So, let us understand the n type semiconductors. Okay. Suppose we dope, so dope as in adding the impurity into the pure semiconductors. Okay. So, suppose we dope silicon or germanium with a pentavalent element as shown in the figure. Okay. What does it say? What does it? So, basically let us see the lattice structure. So, this is the lattice structure being made here. As you can see, all these atoms are semiconductors, silicon and germanium only. Only one is a pentavalent atom, that is plus 5. What does it mean by plus 5? By plus 5 it basically means that 4 of the electrons will be in covalently bonded with the another 4 atoms of the semiconductor, but there will be one electron, as you can see there will be one electron which will be a free electron. Why it will be free? Because it is unbonded. Okay. Let us go very slowly in understanding these topics. Okay. So, suppose we dope silicon or germanium with pentavalent element as shown in the figure. When an atom of plus 5 valency element occupies the position of an atom in the crystal lattice of silicon, 4 of its electron bond with the 4 silicon neighbors, as you can see. So, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, these 4 are bonding with the neighboring 4 silicon atoms, while the fifth remain very weakly bound to its parent atom. So, because there is no covalent bond for this electron, it is very weakly bound and hence it can be ejected out and be a free atom, not a free atom, sorry, free electron. Okay. Okay. So, this is because the 4 electrons participating in bonding are seen as part of the effective core of the atom by the 5th electron. Okay. So, just a reason is being explained here, that the 4 electrons, these are participating in bonding, are seen as part of the effective core. So, electrons does not know that from where it is being interacted upon, like what is the parent atom of it. They just know that yes, I am an electron, there is another electron, I can covalently bond. But the 5th electron does not know, 5th electron is trying to bond with something, but because there is no what we can say, no form of atom here, so that this can be bonded, and hence this leads to generation of free electron here. So, this is because the 4 electrons participating in bonding are seen as a part of the effective core of the atom by the 5th electron. As a result, the ionization energy required to set this electron free is very small, and even at room temperature, please remember this is a very important line, even at room temperature it will be free to move in the lattice of the semiconductor, just because it is a free electron, or just because it is not being just because it is unbonded. Okay. For example, the energy required is approximately 0.01 electron volts for germanium and 0.05 electron volts for silicon to separate this electron from its atom. So, basic energy is also being explained here. This is in contrast to the energy required to jump the forbidden band, that is about 0.72 electron volts for germanium and about 1.1 electron volts for silicon at room temperature in the intrinsic semiconductors. Okay. So, original values are this, but as you can see these values are reduced many folds, right, and hence the conduction increases at a very higher pace. Fine. Thus, the pentavalent dopant is donating one extra electron for conduction and hence is known as a donor impurity. Okay. So, please remember these all things, these terminologies are very important, because as the lecture goes on many such terminologies come and it becomes confusing to remember everything. Okay. So, please remember, first of all I will just keep on revising also everything here. So, first thing is your n type semiconductor, right, n type. So, n type is having a pentavalent, please remember first thing is it is having a pentavalent impurity, and because it is having a pentavalent impurity there will be an electron, there will be an extra free electron, right, there will be an extra free electron. And because of this extra free electron, it is as the pentavalent atom is donating one extra electron, right. So, therefore, it is also called as donor impurity. fine. You can also remember something like this, that as it is n, so n and the next one will be p, right. So as you can understand or you can remember it like this, that this is p type. So p type is basically positive and n is negative. Negative electrons are basically negatively charged, and hence this will be for negatives. When you will understand, just in the next slide, when we will understand p type will be basically due to extra hole, right. So these are basically, and we understood in the intrinsic semiconductors, and holes can be understood as some positive charge carrying substance, right. So this will be due to holes, and hence you can remember this as n type as electrons. So basically extra electron will be used for conduction of electricity, and in p type holes will be used for conduction of electricity. Fine, let us move with the further discussion then. Okay. So, the number of electrons made available for conduction by dopant atoms depends strongly upon the doping level and is independent of any increase in the ambient temperature. Okay. So, what does it basically means is, please understand this line very carefully. Okay. Let us say there are 10 to the power 6 atoms of silicon. Let us say there are 10 to the power 6 atoms of silicon, and let us say for the first time I only imparted 2 atoms of pentavalent impurity, then I imparted 4 atoms of pentavalent impurity, and then next time I added 8 atoms of pentavalent impurity. Okay. Let us say that the complete structure, that the complete semiconductor has, let us say 10 to the power, if I am correct, let us say 10 to the power, let us say 9. Okay. So, for each 10 to the power 6 atom there were 2, right. So, we can just say that for 1000 the amount, as you can see clearly, that as the number of impurity keeps on increasing, the amount of electrons which are being present keeps on increasing many folds, right. So, if there is an increase of 1000 10 to the power 3 here, the amount of increase for this will be 2 into 10 to the power 3, for this will be 4 into 10 to the power 3, and for this will be 8 into 10 to the power 3. So, the amount of unbonded or free electrons are been increasing manifold as the amount of, what we can say, doping level is being increased. So, doping level basically means this only, that as we try to increase the impurity. Okay. And the next line says that it is independent of any increase in the ambient temperature. Very quite evident. Why? Because see, what was happening in intrinsic semiconductors, due to the increase in the thermal energy, there was some excitation happening, and hence the electron which were already covalent bonded, some of those electrons are being imparted about or ejected from the lattice structure, and hence those were being free electrons and was being used for the conduction of electricity. What is happening here is, because there is no excitation, there is no removal of the electrons, there are no generation of holes also. Because there is no generation of hole, there is no generation of excitation happening here, hence there is no change due to change in the temperature majorly. If you increase the temperature, there will be thermal energy. If that thermal energy get encompassed by the Eg value, there will be movement or there will be excitation also, but the excitation or the major import or the major conduction happens due to this unbounded free electron in the extrinsic semiconductors. Okay. Fine. So, that thing is explained here. Next thing is, on the other hand, the number of free electrons with an equal number of holes generated by silicon atoms increases weakly with temperature. Okay. So, this is basically the major portion of the conduction which is being done by intrinsic semiconductor is very less for the extrinsic semiconductors. Okay. So, the majority of the conduction which is happening in extrinsic semiconductor is either due to one majority of free electron being donated due to impurity, or let us say one positive charge being donated due to trivalent atom. In intrinsic semiconductor, it was majorly due to excitation due to thermal energy. Fine. So, in a doped semiconductor, the number of conduction electrons Ne is due to the electrons contributed by donors and those generated intrinsically. What does it mean by generated intrinsically? Just let me explain this line very carefully. So, what it is saying, that this Ne, what is Ne? Ne is the number of conduction electrons. Okay. So, those electrons which, if moved from, let us say, point A to point B, leads to the generation of current, then those electrons can be called as conduction electrons. Okay. These electrons will be basically quite evident, this will be free electrons, then only it is moving. If it would have been in the conduction band, or let us say covalently bonded, then there would have been no movement, and because of no movement, there will be no conduction of electricity or no conduction of current. Okay. So, because so basically it is being divided into two types here. The one type is due to this donor impurity, because there are free electrons being imparted such as this. And next second thing they are saying is that due to what we can say generate intrinsically. What does it mean by generated intrinsically? It just basically means that if when you increase the temperature from let us say 0 Kelvin to 300 Kelvin, then 350 Kelvin, so on, there will be some electrons which are being removed from the covalency, hence they become free, and because they become free there will be movement of those electrons, and that will be related to generation of the conduction electrons intrinsically. Okay. While the total number of holes NH is only due to the holes from the intrinsic source, quite evident. Why? I will explain this very carefully again. So, as you can see here NH, that is number of holes being generated, quite evident. This electron, this free electron, or this addition of pentavalent atom, or this addition of donor impurity does not create any additional holes here, right. Holes will only be created when any of these electrons will be imparted due to the thermal excitation and a hole will be generated. Hence, what we can understand from this portion is that the number of holes being created is only and only due to the what we can say the or intrinsic source. Holes generated are only and only due to intrinsic source. Why? Because there will be temperature change, there will be increase in temperature. This temperature increase will lead to the breakage of some of the covalent bonds, due to which the electrons are being imparted or becomes free, and hence there is generation of holes. No holes will be created due to the pentavalent addition. That has only been explained here. So, but the rate so where it was, so N is done, while the total number of holes NH is only due to holes from the intrinsic source. Okay. But the rate of recombination of holes would increase due to the increase in the number of electrons. Okay. What is rate of recombination? So, basically let us say, now please understand this line very carefully. Okay. I will try to explain to you this line. What was basically recombination? Let us say there is a hole here, there is a hole here, there is a hole here. If an electron reaches very near to this portion, there is a collision happening, and hence this portion of hole is being utilized by the it is being utilized by the hole, right. Hence the recombination happens. Okay. In intrinsic semiconductor, what was happening is, let us say there is some thermal excitation. Due to that thermal excitation, a hole was being generated. Now, due to that hole being generated, the electron from let us say nearby position can go and reside at that location. So, if there is a hole generating being done once, then there is a recombination also being done once, okay, because the number of electrons were same as the number of holes. What is different in extrinsic semiconductor? The generation of the value of number of conduction electrons here are due to two types, right. Hence, the recombination will occur at a very higher rate. Why? Let us say I take an example. Let us say for intrinsic semiconductor and let us say for extrinsic semiconductor, right. Intrinsic semiconductor, the number of electrons which are being present are only due to the thermal excitation part. So, let us say there are 4 only. Okay. Let us say we take the same scenario here, the number of electrons being imparted through thermal excitation were 4 only, right. Recombination will happen. So, 4 electrons will lead to number of holes being generated be 4 only. Here also holes will be 4 only, but the number of electrons Ne here will be 4. But here the number of electrons will be Ne, which is 4 plus donor impurity electrons, Hence, the amount of electrons which are being present in the extrinsic semiconductor are very higher, and the holes are that much only. If the electrons are very much higher and the holes are same as that of intrinsic semiconductor, the recombination can happen at a very higher rate, because those will be the population of those electrons are very much higher. Okay. Hence, the recombination rate is higher in extrinsic semiconductor. So, this is how I explained you recombination also. So, the rate of recombination of holes would increase due to the increase in the number of electrons. As a result, the number of holes would get reduced further, quite evident, because there will be let us say 16 number of electrons and only 4 holes, then there would have been a time in which these all 4 holes are being utilized by the electrons only. Okay. Thus, with proper level of doping, the number of conduction electrons can be made much larger than the number of holes. Okay. Thus, with proper level of doping, the number of conduction electrons, that is Ne, can be made much larger than the number of holes. So, there can be a condition, that is Ne is greater than NH. Okay. So, this all were the things which we understood for n-type semiconductor. Let me stop it here only. There is much further discussion on n-type semiconductor to be explained, and then we can move on to the p-type semiconductors. So, let me stop it here only. Thank you so much.